That was mine, but I'm gonna do another Queen one, which is what I promised. But I have a really cool short story about this one. I had the opportunity to meet Roy Thomas Baker. Do you guys know who that is? Sadly, he wasn't mentioned in the Queen film. Now, I don't know what the ins and outs of that was all about, but he was the one who produced The Night at the Opera with Queen and engineered. He was, the stuff they were doing then was insane. I mean, Hendrix had gotten into some of it, and other people in the late '60s. And I guess it kind of started with the Beatles with the, I don't know if you knew this either, but probably a lot of you do know this, but the original stereo mixes were sort of throwaways for the Beatles. They weren't really, the mono mix was the mix. And so they were just messing around with all that really hard pan stuff. And the Queen, to me, if I think of a band that sort of figured out how to make that effective compositionally, it's Queen. In terms of, do you know what I mean when I say hard pan? You know what I mean, right? Maybe not. Okay, but it's but in the head, I guess during that time, people in the late '60s, I've heard stories about Hendrix that he was made aware that people were listening on headphones, sort of for the first time, I guess, maybe I assume, for the pleasure, and so they he started messing around with the stereo field, the stereo image, which my amp actually does a little bit, but I don't know if you can tell it. But this is really technical, I'm sorry. When I took a personality test, it said that my job should be engineer. I did the young personality test, and I got for engineer stuff. What's my point? That Roy Thomas Baker, to me, I always thought had a lot to do with that. And I had the opportunity to meet him and play for him when I was 19. And when I met him, I thanked him for this song. And he got a bit quiet for a second. He said that was Freddie's favorite. So that's pretty cool. I don't know if this is true about it being Freddie's favorite, but if it is, that's pretty cool. He's my favorite. She keeps moving in a pretty cabinet. Bethany cake, she says, just like Marie Antoinette, built in a remedy for Khrushchev and Kennedy. At any time, an invitation you can decline. Caviar and cigarettes, well-versed in etiquette, extraordinary nice. She's a killer. It's incredibly difficult to play, so it's not that I don't know it, it's just... To avoid complication, she never kept the same address. In conversation, she spoke just like a baroness. Little man from China, without vacation minor. And then again, incidentally, if you're that way inclined, perfume came naturally from Paris. Girl, she couldn't care less. Mysterious and precise, she's a killer queen. Gunpowder, gelatine, dynamite with a laser beam, guaranteed to blow your mind anytime. Something happens there. Drop of ice, she's as willing